Hello guys, welcome to the platform of Clat Prep, and my name is Tarun Swami. As maximum of you know that today there was the D-Day, and I hope you all have done great. As the paper it was not that difficult. It was easy to moderate, right? There was not a single passage which could have created problem or hindrance for the students. So let's start with the first passage, and I'm doing the that star what you call. Set, right? So the first passage, it's a very easy one. So मैंने कहा ना दो पैसेज बहुत easy थे, उनमें से एक ये भी था. That was it's very easy one. इनके अंदर बताया कि कैसे जो कंटेम्प्रेरी लिटरेचर है अभी का, उसके अंदर किस तरीके से जो इंटरप्ले कैरेक्टर्स की जो बिटवीन में है एंड द सेटिंग जो है, राइट, उनका कितना दो दे आर कॉम्प्लेक्स बट स्टिल दे प्ले वेरी important role which shape the narrative's essence, right? And वो बैकड्रॉप में कई बार इतने ज्यादा वो दिखाए जाते हैं जिसके कारण से समटाइम्स दे बिकम द कैरेक्टर एज वेल एंड इन्फ्लुएंसिंग द प्लॉट एंड द कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट. अब ऑथर ने यहाँ पे रिप्रेजेंट कर दिया, उसके बाद में उसने एग्जांपल्स दिए हैं इन दोनों पास व्हाट यू कॉल पैराग्राफ्स में. जैसे जो फर्स्ट वाला एग्जांपल दिया उसने जुम्पा लहरी का द नेमसेक दिया है, जिसके अंदर बता रहे हैं कि कैसे एरिड लैंडस्केप है वो मिरर करता है द सेंस ऑफ आइसोलेशन फेल्ट बाय द प्रोटैगनिस्ट एंड गोगुल एज ही नेविगेट्स हिज आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस इन अ फॉरेन लैंड. जो उसका प्रोटैगनिस्ट है तो गोगुल उसको वो कैसे डिफिकल्ट उसका लेवल है एंड इन दिस आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस बिकॉज ही वाज आइसोलेटेड and the relentless sun and vast sands are not mere description, right? And they are the silent witnesses to his inner turmoil, that he was just going with such turbulence in him, and that is just the description by the background or the what we call the जो आपके बैकड्रॉप में जो दिखा रहे हैं उसको बहुत अच्छे से डिस्क्राइब करते हैं. सेम अनदर इन द लास्ट पैराग्राफ द ऑथर इज अगेन गिविंग द एग्जांपल ऑफ अरुंधति रॉय द गॉड ऑफ स्मॉल थिंग्स, right? And here she describes the lush vibrant Kerala backwaters, and they're just not the setting, they are the characters, right, woven into the fabric of the story. So again then the teeming and the humid landscape reflect the complex web of human relationship and secrets that unravel in the narrative. And this interplay is not confined to contemporary literature alone, और ये सिर्फ contemporary literature के लिए नहीं है. Now the author goes back to the Shakespeare's era, and it says that in Shakespeare's timeless tragedy, that is Macbeth, the eerie and the forbidding setting of the Scottish moors cast a dark shadow over the character's actions, right? तो वो भी एक जो कैरेक्टर के जो एक्शंस हैं उसके ऊपर ये डार्क शेडो कास्ट करता है. जो स्कॉटिश मूर्स है उसकी जो सेटिंग है, एंड द मूर्स shrouded in mist and mystery serve as an ever present omen of the impending tragedy, right? So this was an easy passage, and the questions were very easy. Like if we go with the first what we call question, right, that is sorry, yeah, the first it talks about that in contemporary literature how is the relationship between character and setting described in the passage, कि कैसे इसके अंदर रिलेशन बताया गया है जो कैरेक्टर और जो सेटिंग्स है उसके अंदर, राइट? अगर अपन देखते हैं पहला वाला, इट इज नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट, तो यहीं पढ़ के अपन इसको एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं. ये तो बहुत ज्यादा है, इट इज नॉट नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट, तो वी कैन एलिमिनेट ए इजीली, राइट? सो वील एलिमिनेट ए. इट इज अ कॉम्प्लेक्स इंटरप्ले वेयर द सेटिंग इन्फ्लुएंसेस द प्लॉट एंड द कैरेक्टर development. Yes, because see, they have talked about the nuance, that is the complexity it is talking about. Then we are then the whole the gist or the main idea is that only that the setting influences the plot and the character development, right? So we go with the B1. Characters and settings are interchangeable. No, it is not that characters and settings are interchangeable. उनको आप change नहीं कर सकते. They both have their different role over there, right? But yes, I'm so sorry that settings जो हैं अभी वायरल चल रहा है, as you know that, you know, I am also suffering from bad cold and cough. So the character settings are interchangeable. We can also eliminate that. As settings are insignificant, no, they are very significant, so we can eliminate D as well. So it was an easy question, right? And I expect that all of you must have done it right. In the novel The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, what does the barren desert, right, landscape symbolize? जो यहाँ पर barren desert है वो क्या symbolize कर रहा है? It's a thriving community? Not at all, it's not thriving. तो ये भी हम क्योंकि barren है तो it shows the isolation, and the author has talked about the identity crisis as well. right? So it should be B. It is not lush and vibrant. A barren cannot be. Happy and carefree also is not the characters of barren desert, right? So what role does the Scottish moors play in Shakespeare's Macbeth? That is again a very easy one. It's see. This is like line to line we can go, that it serves a beautiful, no, not at all beautiful. It is mist and mystery, right? An omen of impending danger, right? So has no influence. It has. We cannot. It is a place for the characters to relax. No. So we are left with C. इसके options बड़े easy दे रखे हैं. The author has not, or the examiner, they have not confused the students. They have not made the paper or the options very difficult. What does the term interplay refer to in the context of the passage? What is the interplay refer here? It is a lack of interaction between characters. No, it is not a lack of that. A complex relationship where the setting influences the narrative. Of course, it is complex, as the author has called it, a nuanced dance. So, of course, it is what do you call a complex relationship where the settings influences the narrative. And in the first paragraph, it is mentioned. So we'll go with the B1. And insignificant, no, it is not insignificant. A complete separation of no, it is again not the complete separation of characters and what you call setting. It is not again separation, right? So I hope you people must have done all correct. Let's move to the next one. That is fifth. This is, which of the following words best describe the setting in the God of Small Things, right? जब हमने God of Small Things देखा, that is of Arundhati Roy. So in that is lush and vibrant. What she has talked about the Kerala and the backwaters, right? So without any dispute, it must go with the B1, right? Now the next question, and that is what is the main theme discussed in the passage. The characters in contemporary literature are not influenced by, of course they are. Setting in literature is unimportant. No, not at all. In literature, settings can be as influential as characters in shaping the narrative. See, if you get the, I have told in the classes and even before the exam also we have talked that आपको अगर main idea पता है तो या if you get the crux of the passage तो you can do easily, right? तो ये सारे ही आपके just opposite हैं author के, तो A and B we can eliminate. Settings have no role, and again this is against the main idea, right? So that was the main idea, and the passage was easy, and I hope you people must have scored 6 out of 6 in this passage, right? So let's move to the next one. This is a legal passage, right? And this is the question. See, passage must be very easy to comprehend. They do not have any such what you call legal language, but the questions may be a bit moderate, may be confusing. This passage must have, the questions must have confused students. The crisis of justice, that is subject matter. See, in this, the author is talking about that what is the justice is not what you call given or available to every section of the society. It goes with the rich and then poor, right? And they have said that in the first paragraph, they are giving, they are saying that in the other than India, the countries with our Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, where the middle class people, right? I'm so sorry. In the first paragraph, they are talking about that middle class is also deprived of justice, and the countries, whereas the middle class in these countries has reasonable access to justice, and in India it does not. And a vocal and powerful middle class has emerged in India since 1991. It is demanding reasonable access to justice. Much of the justice reform effort will help meet this demand. Right now, ... So this is the author has presented the idea, and now then the author is explaining this, right? That whether we'll be able to get the justice or not, or what are the reasons why we are not able to. Now the author has even touched the poor section of the society, that the question of justice for the poor is however an altogether different challenge. कि middle class भी छोड़ो, poor के लिए भी एक बहुत different challenge हो जाता है. No country in the world, and here it is, the author is saying that no country in the world has been able to secure justice for the poor, and most of the jails of the richest countries are filled with the poorest, and the masses are often victims of the criminal justice system then of crime. And in India as well, jails are almost exclusively filled with the poor, and the civil justice system is hardly accessible to them. They are often victimized by lawyers, touts, and court staff, right? That इनका अपन जो countries हैं उनके अंदर they are what we call very much deprived of justice, and even the documents or the legal framework which is done, it is also in the alien language, and it makes them a new type of untouchability. That means they have no access to what we call judiciary now, right? Or the judicial system, we can say. Now they are talking about their main concern. दिस इज अ गुड पैराग्राफ जहां पर अपन को थोड़ा क्वेश्चन भी अपन को देखने मिलते, दो उसमें भी थे, बट their main concern thereof is to escape the attention of the justice system. अब ये कह रहे हैं कि जो इनका main what you call concern रहा है, that is they want to escape the attention of the justice system, criminal and civil. ये तीनों का ही करना चाहते हैं. लैंडलेस एग्जाम्पल दिया गया that the people of Madhya Pradesh and the Dalit people, they think that a court is a place where you are forcibly taken by the police to be punished. No one goes to a court, right? On the other hand, the judges and the lawyers, they say that it's a temple of justice where rights are protected, right? That जो बताया गया है किताबों के अंदर and how it is practiced, it is moreover opposite. And these sharply divergent visions mean that justice for one section is offers injustice for another. That means one section, that means now they are talking about rich and poor. So the whole passage, it revolves around that rich and poor, and protect the livelihood of traditional taxi auto drivers from predatory pricing by corporate app based taxi providers by imaginatively using the available tools to. अब यहाँ पर बात कर रहे हैं कि कैसे अब यहाँ पर author एकदम से in favor of middle class and the rich की, that is they do not have the what you call ease of doing business, कि उनको रोका गया है, उन गरीबों को थोड़ा फेवर किया गया है. So it is there is a lot of difference between the law when it comes to the rich and poor. However, the mass would see such a judicial intervention as a strong evidence of a good justice system, right? जो mass है वो एक इसको अच्छा देखती है, because middle class people and all that, yes, it is a good justice system that when they intervene. Although अब ये कह रहे हैं हालांकि जो conflict है और competing visions of the nation and the conflicting demands from the social economic segments have confined judicial reform of judicial administration mainly to neutral, कि जो इनकी demands है. See, यहाँ से आपको आंसर देखने को मिलेगा. ये जो लाइन है अभी जो मैंने पढ़ी है, that this demands from social and economic segments have confined judicial reform of administration mainly to neutral areas, right? कि that they are demanding, there is a need from their side, they want it eagerly, right? And इनको इन्होंने neutral areas में रखा है, and the judicial system has improved its performance. कि उन्होंने इसको एक अच्छा दिखा दिया न्यूट्रल ऐसे एरियाज में जहां पर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला आपके व्हाट डू यू कॉल जस्टिस सिस्टम के अंदर, बट दे हैव वर्कड इन दीज एरियाज द रिफॉर्म्स एंड ऑल मैनेजमेंट एंड द जज स्ट्रेंथ एंड द वर्कलोड ऑफ द जजेस, जिसके अंदर आपके रिच एंड पुअर के बीच में जो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन एंड एक्सेस टू जस्टिस, राइट, तो उसके ऊपर कोई इंपैक्ट नहीं पड़ेगा, इसलिए इसको इन्होंने न्यूट्रल भी कहा है. चलिए लेट्स इट वाज एन एक्सट्रैक्ट. सी दो पैसेजेस इनके उन्होंने कोई एक्सट्रैक्ट नहीं बताया, बट वन इट वाज फ्रॉम द फ्रंट लाइन, राइट, अ मैगजीन, एंड द अनदर वन इट वाज फ्रॉम द अनीता देसाई's story, right, that we'll see that a fire on the top, I think a fire on the mountain. So let's move to the next one. The first question of this passage. What is the central thesis of above extract, right? अब आपको सेंट्रल जब आप आइडिया देखते हो तो अपन को क्या देखना, ऑप्शंस क्या, द प्रैक्टिस ऑफ अनटचेबिलिटी. द ऑथर हैज नॉट टॉक्ड अबाउट एनी अनटचेबिलिटी, दो दे हैव मेंशन्ड दलित्स हियर, बट दे आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट अनटचेबिलिटी ऑफ समथिंग, एंड दे हैव मेंशन्ड व्हाट डू यू कॉल अनटचेबिलिटी फॉर दी न्यू जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स टाइप से, उसके लिए डॉकेट एक्सक्लूडेड के लिए कहा गया था, बट नॉट फॉर प्रैक्टिस ऑफ अनटचेबिलिटी, राइट? सो वी कैन एलिमिनेट ए. B, the imagination of justice for the rich and poor is vastly different. Yes, the author was talking about this thing and the whole passage was revolving out this idea. Let's see the C1, that addressing judge strength and case load management does not affect the performance. ये नहीं कहना चाह रहे थे. That was also not the what do you call central idea of that passage, right? That इससे कोई impact नहीं पड़ता. दो ये सही है, ये गलत नहीं है, but ये इसका main idea नहीं है. Protecting the livelihood of tradition, this is again an example, not the main idea, so we can eliminate this, and we are left with that the imagination of justice for the rich and poor is vastly different. Let's move to the next question, that is what does the author mean by docket excluded in the second paragraph? See, docket excluded मतलब जो गरीब हैं उनकी अब कोई easy access नहीं है, right? अब बच्चे जो confuse होंगे शायद वो इसके अंदर हो सकते हैं, that is C and A के अंदर, right? ये तो अपन easily eliminate कर सकते हैं. But जो C कह रहा है that poor reject the judicial system. Here, poors, they are not rejecting the judicial system as being alien to their language and logic. They are not rejecting. Though आपको लैंग्वेज और लॉजिक भी आपको उसके अंदर मिलेगा जब अपन डॉकेट वाले एक्सक्लूडेड पढ़ते हैं दैट यस दे आर डिप्राइव्ड ऑफ दैट लैंग्वेज एंड लॉजिक बट स्टिल दे आर नॉट रिजेक्टिंग द जुडिशियल सिस्टम एज बीइंग एलियन टू द लैंग्वेज एंड लॉजिक राइट बट दे डू नॉट हैव इजी एक्सेस राइट अनटचेबिलिटी का मतलब ही होता है व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट एक्सेसिबिलिटी टू द temples accessibility to the what you call water wells and all such right so let's move to the ninth question that which of the following words best describes the experience of different segments of people with the justice system as described in the third paragraph right so यहाँ पे अगर आपने देखा है जो experience रहा that was conflicting it was mentioned in the passage so it was an easy question and maximum of you have done it right it's not symbiotic they are not making it a symbol they are just talking about and they have जो एक्सपीरियंस था डिफरेंट सेगमेंट्स का राइट इट वाज कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो रहा है एक दूसरे के साथ राइट दैट इट इज पहली लाइन जो थी अपने आई थिंक फोर्थ और थर्ड पैराग्राफ की जो कह रही थी देयर वाज अ इफ द जस्टिस इज फॉर वन सेक्शन इज द इनजस्टिस फॉर सो दैट सेल्फ इट्स contradictory and it is conflicting right so from that line we can easily get it so we do not have to interdependent or affective or symbiotic not at all when we move to the 10th question let's move to the 10th one that is which of the following statements is the author most likely to agree with इसमें से कौन सा जो author agree करना चाह रहा है The judicial system reflects the same power relationship. See, ये question था जो कि मेरे को personally थोड़ा सा bamboozling लगा था. I got in Cash 22 when I read this question and the options, right? The judicial system reflects the same power relationships as those that exist in society. See, in society we see that there is a religion and caste and untouchability such things and all such things but rich and poor also we see in the society right so on that basis I was going for A but when I read the B option right but judicial system caste और religion को basis पे नहीं देखता है वो सिर्फ किस पे देखता है rich and poor पर right and that was the main idea that we have seen so when we talk about that access the judicial system is determined more by a person's economic status right and then by this social status and all because the whole passage is not talking about this thing that उसको इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है मतलब the judicial system is determined by more rich and poor right and अगर C की अब बात करें judicial system made by rich for the rich and of the rich no it is also not like that right because there was an example of the taxi drivers on the auto rickshaw right jiske rich and middle class they were not in favor of that law but yes so it is not made by the rich of the rich or for the rich so we'll go with the B1 that is access to the judicial system and not with this judicial system reflects the same power okay so B would be the answer of this and this will be a conflicting which of the following statements is the author most likely to disagree with अब इसमें से किससे वो disagree कर रहे हैं that a truly representative democracy would ensure that the interests of the poor are also represented इससे disagree नहीं ये तो वो कहना चाह रहे हैं right that a truly representative democracy कहाँ होती है जो कि ensure करती है कि that interests of the poor are also represented in the judicial system right so ये तो इससे agree कर रहा है अपन को देखना कौन सा disagree कर रहा है kindly ये अपन को छोटी छोटी चीजें अपन को नहीं करना है पेपर के अंदर अब कर आ गए तो I do not know the law ensures equality no यहाँ तो पूरा मेन ही इसने बात कर रहा है कि इक्वालिटी नहीं है सो यहाँ डिसएग्री कर रहे हैं सो बाकी अपन इसको इजीली एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं ओके what makes reform of judicial administration a neutral area see क्या है जिसको reform of judicial administration को एक neutral area बनाया है अब किसने बनाया है that persons across socio-economic strata agree on the need to reform judicial administration they were demanding and they confined to it right there was a conflict between this was again I was dicey and I have contemplated on this question a lot that what should be it should be either A or it should be C because B and D you can eliminate there is a consensus among political parties they have not talked about political parties reform of judicial mandated by constitution तो यहाँ पे भी बात नहीं करेगी right So ये कह रहे हैं कि जो न्यूट्रल एरिया है जो अपन ने पढ़ा था, तो उसके अंदर जो अपन ने देखा है, जो लास्ट पैराग्राफ है जिसकी बात करें, लेट्स रीड द लास्ट पैराग्राफ. अगर बच्चा आप लोगों ने पढ़ा है इसको. The sharply divergent vision between the justice for one section and injustice for the other, protecting their livelihood, the tradition, this. And then in the fifth line from here, that however the masses would see such a judicial intervention as a strong evidence. जब उन्होंने बात करी उस टैक्सी ड्राइवर की, राइट, एग्जाम्पल दिया, तो उन्होंने कहा कि जो मास है वो उसको एक व्हाट डू कॉल जुडिशियल इंटरवेंशन को एक अच्छी गुड जस्टिस सिस्टम मानती है. Although the conflict over competing visions of the nation and the conflicting demands from the social economic segments, right, कि जो ये इनके बीच में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, दोनों के बीच में, किनके बीच में, एक तो जो कॉम्पिटिंग विजन है नेशन का, और जो कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग डिमांड्स हैं किनकी, सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिक सेगमेंट्स, हैव कन्फाइंड जुडिशियल रिफॉर्म ऑफ जुडिशियल एडमिशन मेनली टू न्यूट्रल एरियाज. तो किसने बनाया है इसको? दैट इज द डिमांड फ्रॉम सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिक सेगमेंट्स, और जो इनके दोनों के बीच में. सो दैट मीन जो डिमांड्स है, दे आर एक रीजन तो रही हैं, तभी दे वर कन्फाइंड टू जुडिशियल रिफॉर्म, because there was a conflict between the competing visions of the nation and the conflict demands. So that's why definitely it should be, we'll go with the A1. Let me see. That persons across social economic strata agrees, right, on the need to reform judicial administration, not the C1, that do not favor one class of people over another, right. ये भी एक उसका है कि yes, reform the judicial administration do not favor one class. Of course, they do not, they favor one class. ये तो पूरा पैसेज के अंदर कहा गया है, इसीलिए अपन जाएंगे इसके अंदर ए के अंदर, right. So let's move to the next passage. Again, that was an easy one. Though it was the passage, you might find this passage very confusing in between a few places, but not that one, right. इसके अंदर एक लेडी है जो कि कसौली के अंदर रह रही है on the ridge of the mountain, and that is a quite quiet place, and जहां पर उसको कोई डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं चाहिए, and she wanted to be isolated with the inform with nature, right. She wants to be close in nature and want to be one in nature. So यहाँ पर अब जब उसका वो डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया गया, उसके बारे में बाद में बताते हैं दैट उसको एक तो वहां पर एक पोस्टमैन था, और एक यहाँ पे पक्षी की भी उसकी आवाज आई थी जो कि उसको ऊपर से देख रहा था, राइट, जिसके कारण वो थोड़ी सी गुस्सा हुई. एक तो उसके कारण वो डिस्टर्ब हो रही, उस पक्षी के कारण भी उसको डिस्टर्ब कर रहा था. So she didn't want any kind of disturbance, right. And then in the end of the this first para, that she was grey, tall and thin, and her silk sari made a sweeping shivering sound, and she fancied she could merge with the pine trees, right, कि वो उसी में एक मिल जाए and be mistaken for one, और उसको एक मान लिया जाए, right. And to be a tree, no more and no less, was all she was prepared to undertake, and she wanted to be one among the pine trees. What pleased and satisfied her so here at Carrignano was its bareness, right? Bareness means isolated place, and nothing was, no human being was there. That's all, right? But bareness किस तरीके की है? That this was the chief virtue of all Kasoli, of course, its starkness. It had rocks, it had pines, it had light and air. मतलब it has all the things, but bareness फिर भी contradict कर रहा है. But यहाँ पे bareness बता रहा है कि that is no human disturbance or the human commuting is there. So occasionally an eagle swam through this clear, unobstructed mass of light and air. That was all. And Carrignano, her home on the ridge, had then it describes that okay, how beautiful it is. Then yes, there were some apricot trees as well. यहाँ पर उसके आसपास का description दिया, and they said that almost unimportant because they have nothing to do. They are just incidentally they are kept there. And the protagonist, that she doesn't want anything in what we call. And this is the extract from the Fire on the Mountain from Anita Desai. Right. The first question, it says that what does the protagonist preference for bareness and starkness at Carignan suggests about her personality, right? The bareness and the starkness, it definitely they both are quite similar, the synonyms bareness and starkness. So it is like the simplicity and minimalized. See, bareness का मतलब ही हो गया minimal, but minimal यहाँ पर उसका what you call surroundings के अंदर कहा गया humans भी, और जो उसने end में कहा था that वो apricot trees हैं, बाहर wood पड़ी है and all such things. So ये chimney विमनी, they are also useless, but they are incidentally they are kept here, but they are needful, right? So the answer should be B. Undoubtedly, and very easily people must have marked it, right? So when we move to the 14th question, what do we get to know about the protagonist's state of mind from her reaction toward the postman? Of course, that she dislikes any disturbance. She feels grateful, not at all. She feels suspicious, no. She is disinterested and generally unaffected by presence of. She was affected, right? That's why she looked and bitterly in her thoughts. She dislikes, of course, she dislikes, right? That is the correct answer, undoubtedly. Let's move to the next question. That what is the protagonist desires to mistaken for a pine tree reveal about her mindset, right? She desires to be appreciated. No, there was nothing that she wanted to be appreciated by whom. She doesn't want any what you call interruption or human interference. So she has no desire. She has a deep admiration for the beauty of the pine trees. Maybe कई बच्चों को सही लगा हो, but see, she has not done any kind of admiration for the beauty of the pine trees. ये कहीं नहीं है, right? That she wanted to be her, but इसका मतलब नहीं कि हम इसको infer कर लें कि हाँ वो उसके अंदर था इसलिए हम उसको कर रहे हैं. But इससे एक अच्छा जो था, that she earns to one with nature and escape from her human identity. See, अब अगेन अगर मैं इसको एलिमिनेट करूं तो हो सकता है, बट वहां पे साफ साफ लिखा है दैट शी वाज रेडी टू अंडरटेक. दैट मींस शी वाज रेडी टू लीव द ह्यूमन आइडेंटिटी एंड टेक द आइडेंटिटी ऑफ अ ट्री, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाई आई गो विद द D1. The protagonist description of the nestling scheme. See, this was a question which students must have got what you call perplexed or confounded, that what these nestlings screams as shrill and show that, right? See, भले इसके अंदर आपने पैसेज में नहीं देख पा रहे, बट यहाँ पे अपने आप पता पड़ रहा है कि shrill and maddening. That means चिल्लाना और पागल करने वाला. तो पागल करने वाला जो है, इसके अंदर से कौन सा आउटपुट, ये सूदिंग तो हो ही नहीं सकता, राइट? सिंबल ऑफ न्यू लाइफ एंड वाइटैलिटी, ये भी नहीं होगा. She feels a sense of protectiveness, ये भी नहीं है. Vexation, right? Vexation and irritating, right? Irritating, that's why it is maddening, right? So definitely we'll go with the C1, that she finds the nestlings to be vexatious and irritating, right? Let's move to the 17th one, that which of the following statements are true about the protagonist's overall state of mind in Carignan, right? That she experienced a sense of constant. No, she was very, serene and relaxed. She felt isolated, disconnected. No. She was content, fulfilled, and at peace with her surroundings. Yes, so the answer should be only statement 4th. In the light of the above passage, what role does the nature play in the protagonist's life at Carignan? It provides her with a source of creativity. No, because no creativity and or it is talked about. It offers a solace, peace, and sense of belonging. That's what the author of the first paragraph clearly mentioned, right? So this was again, if you look at the type of questions, they were very easy. And this is the most easiest passage which you people must have found, right? So this is a very easy passage in which they have given the introduction of that literature is a vast and diverse field that has left an indelible mark on the world of letters, right? अब उसके बाद में उन्होंने एग्जाम्पल्स दिए हैं खूब सारे, जिसके अंदर फ्रॉम द एलिक्वेंट प्लेज ऑफ विलियम शेक्सपियर टू द कॉम्प्लेक्स नॉवेल. ये जो पैसेज था इसको करने के लिए, अगर मैंने इसको करा था, जब मैंने इसके क्वेश्चंस देखे तो बिकॉज दे आर जस्ट दी वन वर्ड क्वेश्चंस बेसिकली, राइट? ये आपके एक 10th टाइप का जो आपके पेपर में आते हैं व्हाट यू कॉल पैराग्राफ्स, उसकी तरह है. So, जो passage आता है, who is often regarded as greatest playwright? Of course, everybody knows that is William Shakespeare, and they have also mentioned him with the words like see here they have mentioned for the more luminaries, right, and then the profound poet. Eloquent plays, right? So one of the luminaries of English literature is William Shakespeare, often hailed as the greatest playwright in the history of English language, right? So definitely we go with the what you call C1, that is William Shakespeare. And इसके लिए तो आपको पैसे पढ़ने की जरूरत भी नहीं थी बच्चा लोग, और आप में से अधिकतरों ने नहीं भी पढ़ा होगा. So that is a very easy one, right? And which of the James Austen novel is known for his social commentary and witty portrayal of romance, right? That is एक तो था आपका Pride and Prejudice and the Sense of Sensibility. So we do not have that Pride and Prejudice, but we have Sense of Sensibility in the passage. That's an easy one. And who are the romantic poets mentioned in the passage known for celebrating nature and intense human emotion? See, कई बच्चे अगर इसको विलियम शेक्सपियर के लिए दो ऑथर ने कहा है, but author has not described Virginia Woolf as the celebrating nature intense human emotions in her writing. So we can eliminate A. कई बच्चों ने सिर्फ विलियम शेक्सपियर अगर पढ़ के करा है तो that you can be in hot water. But if you look at the last paragraph or the second last paragraph where they have mentioned William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, right? So for them the author has clearly mentioned that they celebrate in their writing the nature and the intense human emotions. So the answer should be C. They both are B and D you can easily eliminate. What is the title of Virginia Woolf's novel known for its modernist narrative style? That is we have seen in the first or the second paragraph, that is Mrs. Dalloway. So इसके लिए अपन को ज़्यादा मैंने कहा ना इस one word what you call answer options हैं, तो इसके लिए you do not have to even infer or you have to read the lines twice or thrice. It is very straightforward like 10th class passage. Identify the 20th century novel mentioned in the passage that provides a warning about a danger of. This is again a line to line. So that is 1984. So that is again line to line उठाया गया क्वेश्चन है जो बच्चों ने बिल्कुल गलत नहीं करा होगा. And what does the passage highlight as the enduring power of English literature? Right? ये इन्होंने बताया that diversity of its authors in the very what you call first line or the first paragraph of the passage you must have read. It is not ability to win literary award. They have not talked about it. And ability to captivate, inspire. Only British readers know. They have यहाँ तक है, but not only British readers. So we can eliminate this one. The decline of so the answer should be B. I hope you people must have done great. So cross your fingers for the result and. Best of luck to all the students who have written this what called CLAT, right? Take care.